This is my retro driving wheel setup. It's actually a lot cheaper than you'd think. I got this stuff off Kijiji, which is pretty much a Canadian Craigslist. This stuff was pretty much free when I got it. They made it themselves, but they didn't have space for this unit. So I picked it up from them. Driving games in particular get very expensive after a while because with each iteration of a new system, there's always a new wheel that goes with it. And they get more advanced and more advanced and more expensive they go. So I generally play around with some of the older setups because usually people sell them for cheap later on when they're out of date or when they've outgrown them or something like that. A lot of people really don't get into driving with the wheel just because of how expensive it is. And sometimes a little more difficult than regular controller driving. It's got adjustable seat, and this is basically a Honda Civic chair, which they made with this wooden setup. So the seat actually pulls back and reclines. And I still have the CRT television here, not because I need it, but because it was a free TV as well. So we're going to check out some of the driving games on 360 and PS2. So last week we checked out Outrun 2, and we had it system linked together, but this week we have my driving setup here with the Xbox 360. Just to turn this thing on, the X button, just like a wireless controller for the 360. Gaming setup works for the original Xbox games, but the only thing is the paddles don't really work for original Xbox games because they weren't set up to work with it. But the actual tension for the wheel still works. In order to change the gears, you kind of actually use these buttons over here on the left right hand corner. See, like the A button does the changing the gears, and Y would lower the gears. So it's more awkward to drive this way, but if you drive automatic, it'd probably feel exactly like the arcade. So you can still do your power slides as well. In an ideal world, another setup like this would be fantastic because I could system link the two together and have a true arcade experience right here. So there's a lot of Xbox 360 games that utilize the wheel. We have Forza series, 2, 3, and 4. Burnout Paradise is a great arcade style game that's open world. PGR 4, Project Gotham Racing, is actually pretty classic. Need for Speed Most Wanted, it's an open world but with a lot of cop chases. And Forza Horizon, which is a great game, but it's an open world, more of like a car PG where you gain experience points for other things. And I have Outrun 2. Last time I mentioned there was a bunch of problems with PlayStation 2s. These are all broken PlayStation 2s that I've had. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I had two of them in the two of them system linked downstairs, and this one over here just to play on the PlayStation 2. So that's a lot of PlayStation 2s, and they're very unreliable systems. Xbox and normal steering wheels generally have to have a table of some sort to lay on so that they can play. But the PlayStation 2 one actually came up with this little device. You can set your steering wheel on, and you can play with it in your lap. I'm surprised that not a lot of people did this, or not a lot of companies did this, but there was not a lot of people that purchased these type of things anyways. So this is Burnout 2. Oh, it's a shot of the game. You can see that the PlayStation 2 is it has the force feedback as well. And this game's pretty fun because you're driving dangerously. The more dangerous you drive, the more points you get. And there's certain modes where you just crash the car and trying to see how much damage you actually do to to the city. Gran Turismo 4. It's more of a simulation game rather than the usual arcade games that we're having. Similar to how Forza was, not Forza Horizon, but the other Forza Motorsport games. This is a good game that utilizes the wheel. This wheel is actually meant for for the Gran Turismo games. And so it has all the functions that you want for changing gears with the paddles. Oh my god. This takes a little while to get used to because a lot of us are used to playing games with our controllers. Paddle shifts are very large, so you have to pull it in a lot. The newer iterations of the wheels don't have such a big space between the paddles. And the other games, they didn't recognize that the paddles would be very useful for changing gears. Well, that's about it for this week. Next week, we're going to have a newbie check out some of these games, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.